Hi, my name is Hunter and thanks for clicking on the video. Today we're going to go over the top 10 ways to improve your game in any game. When it comes to gaming, you and I know that we can spend hours on end sitting at the computer or couch. So I think that you should get comfortable, but not too comfortable. Because if you get too comfortable, you'll lose your ability to react quickly. So what do I mean by getting comfortable in the first place? So getting a comfortable chair that supports your lumbar, shoulders, and neck is a perfect way to make sure that you're comfortable, but not too comfortable. Now remember, you also want to make sure that your legs are level with the ground. Don't have them tucked under you, because that'll slow your circulation. This tip is especially true for PC users, but people who play on consoles can benefit from this as well. So what do I mean? What I mean is make sure that your monitor or your TV screen is at least 2 feet away from you whenever you're playing. You don't want your eyes to get tired, and you can also suffer from eye damage if you look at your monitor for too long with all the flashing. Believe it or not, the strain that it causes on you will reduce your reaction time, and it will cause long-term permanent damage. This is something that needs to be avoided, and it's really simple to avoid. Believe it or not, getting a good night's rest will actually help you in gaming. Well, you might say, well, of course it will. But what I mean is making sure that you don't have any distractions when you're going to sleep. It means turning off the game at least 30 minutes before you're going to go to bed. Sleep is essential for the human brain and body. When you go to sleep, you actually start to retain, understand, and utilize all of the things that you learned that day. So, if you learned a lot more about muscle memory when you're playing the game, you'll be able to do that twice as good the next day. You and I both know that it sucks to game on an empty stomach, but one thing you might not know is what you put in your body will indeed affect how you perform in the video game. Eating things that are high in caffeine are a perfect way to make sure that your senses are keen and are going to react in a perfect manner. But what kind of things have high caffeine that are healthy? Well, for starters, apples are a perfect place to begin. Another great thing to drink is water. Water is going to make sure that you're hydrated, and having a hydrated body also means having an alert body. This may seem like a stupid idea at first, but trust me, I've actually tested this during eating just junk food, drinking Mountain Dews all day for about a week. Then I decided, you know what, I'm going to eat healthy and see how this affects my gameplay. I can tell you from experience, it helps. I feel certain that anyone who's ever played a video game has fallen victim to procrastination. Why is procrastination a problem? How can it actually affect your gameplay? Well, first of all, worrying about something is never a good feeling. And secondly, knowing that you have got everything that you need to do done will actually give you a much higher sense of gratification and a much better ability to respond to what happens in front of you. Now, no matter how good you are at a game, no matter how many times you max out kills, minimize your deaths, there's always a way that you can improve. One thing to tell yourself is that there's always someone that's going to be better than you at least something. Now maybe somebody doesn't have as many kills as you, but quite possibly they might be a better helicopter pilot than you. Or maybe they're not as good as you at FPS games, but they're a lot better than you at fighting games. Whether you actually like those different types of games is really up to you, but it's important to realize that nobody is actually the best at everything.
We've lost objective Bravo.
This tip may not actually help you in a single player game, but in a multiplayer game, of course it's going to help you. Playing as a team is essential to making sure that not only you get the most points in games like Battlefield you see here, and making sure that your team actually wins. There's nothing more annoying than somebody who doesn't give you ammo when they're sitting right next to you, and you know they have ammo. We can take that into any other aspect of life, but here in video games, it's definitely necessary to making sure that you have the best score on your team and improving your overall experience while gaming. This tip applies more to single-player games, but like always, it's pretty important to understand why you are who you are, what you're doing, and what the game is really about. Let's say you're playing The Last of Us and you don't actually understand the characters around you. If you don't understand why you should feel bad for something, or why you should feel happy for something, or the overall mission that you're trying to accomplish, it can make gaming a little bit tedious and not very rewarding. Having something to fight for is always great motivation to make sure you're doing your best. This tip applies to not only single-player games, but multiplayer games as well. Let's say you're playing something like Battlefield, and you're playing as a support. You should be running with an ammo pack and making sure that your team is always well resupplied. Make sure that they always have the firepower to continue on with the game. If you're playing a medic, you need to make sure that you're always reviving your teammates and supplying them with health. Now somewhere like in an MMO, if you're playing a healing class, make sure you're healing your teammates. Let's say you're playing like a single player RPG. Make sure that you understand why you're there. Just like with tip 3, you want to know everything about your character. Everybody has to start somewhere. Remember, no matter how frustrated you get, there's always going to be the silver lining of gratification you're always going to receive from success. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.